fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I have a in-studio guest with me this evening, and it is my really good friend Richard Turner is here to join me, and we're going to talk, we'll talk Browns, we'll talk Cavs, and some NFL and NBA news. We'll talk Tribe and Major League Baseball and college hoops if we have time. But first, here's today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. In 2013, which music superstar sold his share of ownership in the Brooklyn Nets franchise? I will have the answer later in the podcast. Excuse me. Well, it's now official. The Browns, I apologize for the dead time. It's now official. The Browns have officially hired Joe Woods from the 49ers as their new defensive coordinator. The big question is, whenever the Browns hire a new defensive coordinator, has been answered. They are not switching schemes from under Joe Woods. Now, Woods was officially announced as a defensive coordinator on Friday, that's today, and he joins the Browns after a season as their defensive backs coach and passing game coordinator in San Francisco. The franchise had to wait for the 49ers season to end to officially hire Woods, and that was after, of course, Super Bowl 54. The Browns say it's absolutely worth the wait. Head coach Kevin Stefanski said, "It's good to see when you're taking a coach from another team, and it's good to see that the team having success. And it was fun to watch these guys. They had an incredible season. Joe's impact on the defense was very real. And as for the question of scheme, Woods said he'll keep the Browns in the 4-3. And I think you want to make sure that you're putting guys that you have in the right position to make plays, and that is absolutely true. I know the personnel is tailored toward a 4-3, and that's exactly what was said. 4-3 scheme, which I'm very comfortable with, and we'll stay with the 4-3 system. Here I focus on putting the guys in the right positions to make the plays. Woods has seen the Browns' talent on defense up close, both with San Francisco last year and when the Browns visited Denver the season before that. Now, you could definitely see they have had some pieces in place, Woods said. Some talented players I have evaluated over the years. And Woods is back as a defensive coordinator, and after he held the position in Denver for 2 years in 2017 and 2018 before joining the 49ers last year. And Woods says, "It's good to be back in this role," Woods said. "I felt like I learned a lot from my time in Denver, and it's really about managing people, game planning, and how to call a game. And so I feel like I am more prepared now than I was then." Woods grew up near Pittsburgh, so he already knows all about the biggest rivalry too. I know their division rival, and I know on the other side of it, my whole life. I've been on the other side of it my whole life. I grew up in Pittsburgh, but it's now about business, and that's absolutely true. And I really feel this is a good mess because Woods hit it off with Stefanski right away, Rich, and I think he also really had a good connection with Andrew Bay. What are your thoughts on this? With the Browns hiring Woods as the new defensive coordinator, because they already have Alex Van Pelt, and they just hired a linebackers coach. They just hired. So, what are your thoughts on this? With them hiring Joe Woods as the new defensive coordinator.
try and, turn things around.
Yeah, because I think this is what they need to get this team to the next level. Because next year, the NFL draft this year is going to be held in Vegas. I was mentioning that first, but next year it's going to be here in Cleveland. And the Browns, they have to make the playoffs, and they better do it. Because it's going to be right here in Cleveland, and I'm going to be down there podcasting next year. And my really good friend Matt Murphy will join me, my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle, his cousin Aaron, and of course my good friend Richard Turner. And so we're looking forward to that a year from now. But I will be doing a broadcast for the first round of this year's NFL Draft on April 23rd for round 1 at my really good friend Matt Murphy's house. And my really good friend Matt Murphy will be my guest. So please tune in for that, and we'll break it all down. We'll give you all the picks that came in the first round, and I really think the Browns will need to stick and really get some offensive linemen in this draft this year. That's what they need, tight ends and defensive linemen. Turning out, we have some other NFL news, which is Browns news. The Browns' beloved 145 Boldness Stiff, who joined the Browns as the team's first live mascot, passed away today. He was 6 years old, and that is, of course, Swagger, who joined the Browns as a puppy at the start of the 2014 season. Swagger battled cancer throughout the past year. On top of the regular appearances on Dog Pound Drive and events throughout the community, Swagger ran through the tunnel at every Browns game at First Energy Stadium from 2014 to the midpoint of the 2019 season. The lone home game he missed was in 2017 when Cleveland faced the Minnesota Vikings in London. Swagger's son, Swagger Jr., S.J., took over for him in Week 10 of the 2019 regular season and will carry on the role into 2020 and beyond. Swagger served as the Dog Pound captain in his final game with the Browns. Swagger was born on July 20th, 2013, hailed from FD Farms. FD Farms, a certified member of the American Kennel Club in Rootstown, Ohio. Fred and Debbie McLaughlin are the operators of the farm, and their son Justin McLaughlin was Swagger's handler. Justin ran out of the tunnel alongside Swagger, and has continued to do so along with Swagger Jr. S.J. And Swagger will definitely be missed by diehard Browns fans here in Ohio and everywhere across the country. And I really feel he was just one of the sweetest dogs. All the fans loved him. And I just feel Swagger is really just going to be missed wholeheartedly because I really feel... what are your thoughts on that with the Browns mascot? I mean, this is really for Browns players and fans, I think it's kind of a sad day, but they've got Swagger Jr., and I think he's going to be just as good to take over, but Swagger, I feel, will be missed, and I think he would agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. Well, we're going to get to the Cavs and Indians in just a moment, but right now, it is time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. In 2013, which music superstar sold his share of ownership of the Brooklyn Nets franchise? Rich, you want to take a crack at it before I reveal it?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z is correct.
Yeah.
And if you said Jay-Z, you are correct. Jay-Z sold the small amount of the Nets, his owner amount of the Nets, he owned so that he could become an agent for NBA players rather than an owner. As being both simultaneously is against league rules. I will have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. Now, moving on to the Cavs. The Cavs have one more day off. They've had yesterday and today off. They also have one more day off, which is tomorrow, and then they'll take on the Los Angeles Clippers on Sunday at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. The Cavs will try to snap a 6-game losing skid, and the Cavs have lost 6 straight and 12 out of their last 13 games. The Cavs have the worst record in the NBA right now, and at 13-39. And tip-off is at 7:30 p.m. on Fox Sports Ohio. And I think it's going to be a few more years before the Cavs are back in the playoffs. And I'm not so sure Beeline is going to be back next season. But I know you heard the Cavs did not trade Tristan Thompson with the NBA trade deadline having gone into effect at 3 o'clock yesterday when it wrapped up. And but they got Andre Drummond, trading Brandon Knight and John Henson. What are your thoughts on that, with the Cavs getting Andre Drummond from Detroit for a very little amount that they had proposed for him? Because Tristan Thompson's going to want out of here, and I think Kevin Love is going to want out of Cleveland at some point.
Yeah, I know Kevin Love does want to leave the Cavs. Andre Drummond. I think he can do it.
I think he can too. I think he might be a valued addition because the Cavs just need to start stringing some wins together. Excuse me. And as I said, tip-off is at 7:30 p.m. on Fox Sports Ohio. Now, moving on to the Indians, we are 2 weeks away from the Tribe and pitchers and catchers reporting for spring training in Goodyear, Arizona, on February 22nd. Actually, my mistake. It's February 11th when they report. My mistake. Pitchers and catchers report to Goodyear, as I just said, Arizona, on Tuesday, February 11th, while the full squad is set to start their preparations on Saturday, February 15th. The Indians will open the 2020 spring training schedule against the Cincinnati Reds at Goodyear Ballpark on Saturday, February 22nd. And the spring training, this spring, the Indians will play 15 games as the home team and another 18 on the road, along with 8 weekend home games. The Indians will have a 4 split squad days, February 29th, March 1st, March 9th, and March 17th in Cactus League play. The Indians will wrap up spring training with 2 exhibition games against the defending American League champion Houston Astros in Houston Texans on March 23rd and 24th, before reporting to Progressive Field in Cleveland for the start of the 2020 regular season campaign. And the Tribe will open up the 2020 regular season against the Detroit Tigers on March 26th, and that is a Thursday. And I'll have a special opening day edition, Tribe Major League Baseball edition of Scott Sports 101. So tune in for that, and you and I will hopefully get down to a few Indians games this year, since we didn't get to any last year, because I always enjoy going down there with you. And speaking of that, Tribe shortstop Francisco Lindor is open to signing a long-term contract deal with the Indians. And Lindor said, "I love Cleveland. I love this team, and I want to win for Cleveland." He says the team is great, the coaching staff is great here, and he'd like to remain with Cleveland. I know he's looking for that big pay, which that player from the Washington Nationals signed, and I know I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but I feel that they need to sign Frankie Lindor to a long-term contract, and he's open to it. So, what are your thoughts on that? And we're going to have to we're running out of time here, so you have to do it quick.
Okay, so what are my thoughts on what now?
On the Tribe signing Frankie Lindor to a long-term contract.
Oh, I think he can.
Yeah, I feel they need to do it.
He can do it.
Yeah,
I think
so.
he can do it, yeah.
Well, all right. Well, Rich, I want to thank you for being here tonight on my podcast, and that's just about going to wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. And I'll see you next time. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.